Welcome to episode 28 of this Playfield swap and restore of this Scared Stiff machine. You can go back and have a look at episode 9 where we covered the redecaling and restoring of the actual crate itself. Here we actually look at the sets of LEDs which are the eyes that pop out at the top as we replace those and fix those and get those into place. That you've got 3 sets of LEDs which form the lights from underneath the crate. And then these 2 here just don't work. I'm not a fan of all these blue lights, so I'm going to go and test this on the bench. I'm going to try and see if I can replace these with better LEDs that are consistent, and if I can find red ones I'm going to do that. So let me see what I can do and see what I've got in stock hidden away. Okay, so I've got the crate board out. These are the 2 that are damaged, and I've managed to get hold of some LEDs, 2 types. The ones with ending in part number 83, they're both 3mm, which are the same size as these. These are super bright and these are regular bright. And so what I'm going to do, and they're both red, which is what I prefer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out and put the super brights in here and the not so brights here. Now I'm anticipating that the only reason why these don't go on is because one of these globes, because they're connected in series, if one goes out, if one of the LEDs goes out, the other one goes out. And it's a pretty shonky job that's been done. It's just, I'll get these out and put the super brights in LED 1 and 2, and in 3 and 4 I will put the not so super brights and see which ones I prefer. Let's get this out quickly and we'll put it back in the game. I've installed the first 2, which are the super brights, and because of the pain I managed to damage the trace of one of their legs. So I've just bent over the leg and used it to connect where the trace was going. It's not perfect, it's not a great job, but it's going to work fine. I've actually put it in the machine and tested it, and they look great. Because it's just a pain in the ass to take these LEDs out, I'm not even going to bother with the other ones. I'm going to just stay with these super bright LEDs that I got from RS Components. I'll put the link down below and you can have a look at those and see the exact specs of those. I'm going to go and put these in so long. Now, one of the things you should realize with LEDs is that the short leg is negative, the cathode, and the positive is the slightly longer leg, the anode. And then on the board, when you look at it, the flat, you'll see that there's a round side and then there's a flat side. The flat side is where the cathode, or the negative, or in this case the short lead, should go. So these are literally just go in with the short lead on the flat side and the long lead on the round side. And those just go through like that. You don't want them, you want them to be a little bit proud of the board, which is a bit painful to get that right, to be honest. I'll get the second one in, short lead and long lead. I'm going to just take the long lead, put it in the round, short lead in the flat side of it. Get that to where I want it to be and bend over one of the legs. It sits at the right height off the board that I'm after, so that it just sits with the eyes going through the crate. Okay, so I am going to go now and solder this in. These traces are fine. I'm going to put a little cloth underneath this so that it doesn't, because if you put it down on itself, it's actually it pushes the LEDs back towards you. So you need it to be able to hang down properly. So let me get this soldered in. Okay, so before I go and replace all of these, I'm going to just check that that works. Let me cut these off. I'm going to give that a bit of a test in the machine. You can see the solder's flowed through nicely, and then when those work, and I'll just check that those heights are right for the crate, and then we can do the other two, which have got blue LEDs, and obviously you want your colors to match. Let's just clip those off nice and flush. Okay, so that looks okay, about the right height. Let's go and have a look what it looks like turned on in the machine. So I've just secured it with the two screws, plugged it in. I'm just going to get this, actually let me just check if it works first. So it should cycle through at the beginning if I've done it right. Yep, there you go. Okay, so you can see these are considerably brighter than these. Not a fan of the blue. I mean, it's not a bad thing to maybe have the contrast, but I like the red to be consistent with the red part of the game. Now, so I'm just check whether this is the right height. Now, getting this crate on is a bit fiddly from memory. Let me turn this off again. I don't want to inadvertently short something. It's a bit fiddly here with some of these ball guides and things that are sitting back here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's now on. Two screws will go in there, but you can see the LED is just sticking out a little bit there. Let's see how those look. Those are high enough, or we need to go higher. Actually, those are great. That's a perfect height. So even if the player is sitting back here, if we look at it from here, that looks really good. So I am going to go and do the blue ones, replace those blue ones now with the red ones that are super bright, and I might put them just a little bit higher so we can see them. Let's go back to the bench and replace those. So we're back on the bench. These are the ones that have been replaced. You can see these are slightly higher on the left. They are sitting, let me measure that for you. Okay, so I've got a cheap and nasty little caliper here. I don't know where my good one is. So bottom of the board to the top here is 12 millimeters. So that's about right. These ones are a bit flatter. They're down there. The ones on the left are about 10, so they're a little bit lower. So these on the first two I did a little bit lower. They're 10.5, 10.3, 24.5. I'm going to try to make these, the new ones that I put on this side, a little bit longer. So around the 12 millimeters, measured from the bottom of the board to the top of the LED. Looks good. So because I know I'm just going to replace these, I'm not going to try and fiddle around too much. I'm actually just going to cut the old LEDs off, the blue ones off. That makes getting them out a lot easier. So cut it off at the bottom. And also at the top. There goes the LED. I think I might have made a mistake here, but anyway, I've cut it off a bit too short, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull it out on that LED. That's ideal. So that's how you want it to look. So you've got something to grip on. These two here I've cut too short, and it can be a pain to get that out. Okay, so don't do what I've just done because I know that's going to be a pain. These two are too flat, whereas those two are about right. There's something to grip onto, because all you want to do is to heat it up. Pair of tweezers, pull out. Let's zoom out a bit. So what you want to do ideally is just heat up the solder. Pair of tweezers, pull it out. That's just okay. I'll get the solder sucker out afterwards and just suck that clean. Push it up this side, I think. Okay, and then these ones I'm just going to push through and try and grip them from the other side. Heat up the solder, push through. Okay, I'll get the solder sucker, get it hot. So those two pads are fine. This one of them's lifted, so we will see, which is a pain. Okay, that's that one. I knew as soon as I did it that was a mistake to cut those so short. Really pisses me off when I do this. I've done it once before and I remember thinking, fuck, whenever you pull these off, just remember this next time. There we go. That's one of the little tricks I did last time, was to use one of the legs that I'd cut off. So now I just have one more to go. Okay. I think that's it. So there you go. You can have a look at those. These are the ones that I've now taken out. The 4 LEDs here and here. I'm going to give this a bit of a clean now because it's actually quite dirty. See, so I've got an old toothbrush and some 100% isopropyl alcohol, and just put that down. Just give this board a bit of a clean. Okay, so let me get and put these new LEDs in. Okay, let's line those up. Okay, again, I'm saying this as much out loud to remind myself as to say it to you guys. Flat side is the short side, negative leg, in it goes. These ones, the first two here, actually the board, actually the solder points are on the front, which actually makes it easier because you can get the height right. There you go, all soldered on. Roughly the same height. These ones are a little bit higher. I'm worried this one might be a little bit too high. That looks fine. I'm going to go cut those off now with the side cutters. Give it a bit of a clean with the last bits of that isopropyl alcohol. There we go. Look, doesn't look too bad. All cut up. I'll put that back in the game now. Get the crate back in. Key component of this game. And we can move on to finding out the other problems. So let's get this board screwed in. Before I screw it in, let me test if it's working, given that I've just replaced them. Let me just put one of the screws back in. Okay, it's just one of the screws plugged in. Let's just see if those all work. The game. Brilliant. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all working. Those look much better than the old semi-dark, semi-blue ones. Okay, let's get that crate back on. Let's get that last screw in. Okay, those are all lined up nicely, and then these tiny little screws that sit flush to the crate. Okay, let's turn it on, see what it looks like with the actual crate on. Hopefully that all still works. That's brilliant. Really happy with that. Fantastic. Well, if you like that replacement of these LEDs, you can catch the rest of the videos that are available online as I restore this machine. You can subscribe, you can like this video. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll keep moving through this restore.